All right, let's talk about discussions. And again, I want to emphasize discussions. I want you guys to get into this a little bit. I want you to read on a daily basis, some material that has to do with business and, in particular, business law. I think you'll find it far more interesting, and you'll learn things that are applicable to the real world. It's going to be more fun than reading it out of a text. Some of them, as you'll see, I'll show you some that are kind of humorous, or maybe you'll see things like Mr. Tudball needs a secretary, right? For those of you that haven't watched it, you might want to. It's a little 5 or 6 minute video that's kind of comical. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you go back to the course home, you'll see that I have set up for Group 1, Group 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are not real groups. Groups is just the name that I use. This is an individual thing when you do the discussions. Okay, I'm just going to break the semester up into probably 4 or 5 segments, and when it's your group's turn, then that means it's your turn individually to post a thread, start a thread in the discussion. Okay, so it'll be your responsibility then to find an article or articles that you find intriguing, to read those articles and to summarize them briefly, and maybe post some questions or post some observations about that article and things that you found, and especially as it might relate to our classroom discussions or the textbook. Okay, my first thread wasn't a terribly good example because the one that I had for a trial, and let's go take a look at that. So if you come to activities and you hit discussions, and why is that? Well, because I just said this: woman fired for being too cute. I gave you a headline, and we'll click on it. And I did pose a question: what if your wife says she's got to go? How might this play out in the hiring process? So I asked a few questions. I didn't really comment on it. I didn't make any observations. I didn't open up the text and maybe go towards, I think it's towards the back of the text when we would talk about labor law and those types of things, and discrimination. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act might have some discussion about discrimination, harassment, those types of things in the workplace. So I might have made some comments about those. Mine was a little quick. I just wanted to get it in there, get a subject in there that you guys could read. This one here you'll see is a link, right? And that'll link you to the article itself, and I would like you guys for sure to put those links in, right? And in this case, it's just an article about a wife who wants her husband to fire an assistant, because she's too cute. Kind of interesting, right? You don't often hear those types of cases come up. So we've had some people post, some students post responses, okay? And what I'll say is that these are fairly average responses, and average is better than no response, of course. So do that. I'm going to positively pick on Rebecca. She just posted here a little bit ago, and she made some good points, and she put it in a good format that was simple to read, and it certainly added to the conversation. She added some other aspects of hiring, firing, like probationary periods and those types of things. Okay. And so this one certainly added to and would be deserving certainly of an above average grade. Okay, and you'll see that I do have a rubric posted on the main page, and a little talk about the discussions there as well that you might want to look through. Okay, and it'll kind of talk about how I'm going to grade this. Okay, in the discussions, there's also going to be an opportunity for extra credit, and that's going to mean, when it's outside your turn, you should be reading all of the discussions on a weekly basis. I will. Okay, I'm going to try to do actually a better job than I have in the past of keeping up with the discussions and how they're going. Okay, you should be, you could be, you can, you may, okay, respond even when it's not your turn, right, to be facilitating the discussion, and you should. Okay, you should read these and you should respond. And feel free to post additional threads. So, anytime you find something that's interesting, compelling, post it, start a thread. Okay, you're not restricted by the fact that it's not your group's turn, right? When it's your group's turn, you have that responsibility then, but there's no restrictions throughout the semester. Okay, I want a vibrant, full, active. I want to in mid-semester be complaining that you guys are giving me way too much to read. Okay, and then I won't have to be the news hound that I am because you guys will be posting so much stuff that I won't need to. So where do I get my articles? Okay, well, one of my favorite places is Reuters. There's a lot of talk about how news has gotten political. In a lot of cases it has. Reuters is one of those that I would say is probably one of the more neutral, if you want to say there's a neutral. It really kind of is. And if you come to Reuters, just type that into your search engine, Google or Bing or something, and it'll bring up, and you can get to the Reuters main page, just Reuters.com. But then here's what I really like about it. So I can hover over business, and look at that, business legal. Wow. Who'd have thunk, right? And so we come down, and are there some things here that we want to look at in terms of business law? Well, certainly there's some. The lawsuits challenging Trump transgender military service ban. Interesting. That would be an okay article to post. It's military government. This is a little more outside maybe the pure realm of business law. Okay. Texas flood damage from Harvey may match Katrina. Again, that's, certainly business related. I don't know how much legal is in there. There's going to be a lot of legal things that probably come out of the Harvey hurricane. Okay, here we go. FDA steps up scrutiny of stem cell therapies. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got the government. We've got the regulatory part of government, which is chapter 16, something, 12, 11, somewhere around there. Okay, the regulatory part of government and how that interacts with business. That one's important, sure. EPA Inspector General to investigate agency chiefs' travel. Ooh, that's more political. Okay, so you see how I kind of come down and I kind of look through these a little bit, and I try to find ones that are probably a little bit more pure in terms of their business law. Just kind of cruising down a little bit. Here we go. Here's a perfect one. U.S. judge tosses lawsuits about labels on Parmesan cheese. Okay, that's quite interesting. So, hang on a second. So I was talking about things, cases that I find, or articles where I go look, and ones that I find. And don't just pick the top one. Come down, find one. Look at that great one there, right? This one could be interesting, but again, it's kind of political, and so you gotta sort through them a little bit. Find the ones that are in particular related to business and to law. Okay. Other sites that you can use that I use, Drudge Report. I kind of like Drudge Report is just headlines. Okay, and so this headlines that'll take you to articles. Okay, and the articles could be in any number of interesting places. So you see coming down to about here, is where the articles end. Then you got all kinds of garbage down below that. But if you look through this, you might find some that are kind of, sometimes this is where I find some of the ones that are a little bit humorous as well. Okay, that you might want to, like, here's one. Okay, and could you post this? Well, sure. Cops. Woman called 911 to complain about poor quality of meth she bought. Good for her. Okay, so there's one that might be a little humorous, and I like humor, so you go ahead and post some of those and be okay. Moderate Muslims sue Southern Poverty Law Center for defamation. Ooh, defamation is definitely something that we're going to talk about. Okay, and there's two types of defamation, slander and libel, and so you'd have to see maybe which one that applies to. But certainly, that would be a one that would be kind of interesting to look at. Okay, look at that. Matt Stafford, the highest paid player in NFL history. That's kind of crazy. He's not the best quarterback even, but that's just my opinion. Here we go. Justin Bieber's testicles spark lawsuit claiming hospital worker snooped. All right. So there's one. It fits, right? It's a good article. Certain. I haven't read the article, but I find some good ones here on Dredge Report. I guess I'll stop there, and you guys can go look at that one if you want. But Fox News, ABC, CBS, AP. There's any great number of news sources out there. Fox, if you come to that, and then you can click on business, and that'll just give you business headlines. I don't think they go business law like the Reuters one did, but still.
Watching people get rescued.
Okay. Hit the pause so you guys don't have to listen to that, right? How Waffle House can a disaster indicator. So, a lot of Harvey stuff in there right now. Okay. Here. Hyundai halts China production as missile row cuts sales. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Federal judge reviews $151 million chemical spill settlement. Kind of has to do some class action stuff there, so that's kind of cool. Volkswagen recalls cars. Okay, Volkswagen's had a lot of issues with vehicles, right? With their emissions and whatnot. Okay, so yeah, several in here. Again, you got to sort through them again. Okay, so take a look, and there you go, and look at some of the other sources, and you shouldn't have any problems finding any number of articles, and you guys probably have other news sources, news suppliers, and those types of things. So wonderful. Get after them. Take a look at them. Post them. Summarize them. Make sure you read them. Nothing frustrates me more than when somebody's posted something and I can tell that they haven't really read it. They just kind of posted it and away they go. Okay. How to post, if you come to the discussion list, okay, and you'll see here we've got the September 5 through 10, so that's going to be next week, and you click on that, okay, and you can start a new thread, right? And in this case, or like with the trial one, then I'm going to click on that. You can open it up, and then in this case you can hit reply to thread, okay? And so either way, if it's a new thread, right, a new article or whatnot, don't start a new thread unless you've actually got a new article or whatnot. Otherwise, keep it as a reply to whoever posted that thread. So, we should have for each, there's going to be 4 or 5 people per group. So each week we should have 4 or 5 separate threads going, right? And those people that are going to be in that group are going to be responsible for posting a thread, and they should reply either within their own thread, maybe to some questions that other people bring up, or get onto one of the other threads and make some comments there, okay? If you're an outsider, if it's not your week to be doing that, not your time, then, you have every right to get in there and comment, and those will build up extra credits. So I hope that's explanatory enough. Hopefully you guys will figure it out as we go along. I'll try to be a little better about reading those myself and getting out grades so that you kind of know where you're at when it comes to the discussions and whatnot.